You're listening to Radio Institute of Islamic Understanding Malaysia, IKIMFM, pilihan utama anda. You are still with me, DJ Ahmad Nazri Muhammad Yusof, accompanying you for English section Saturday's edition. Well, time is running very fast and we are coming into our final segment this evening in Focus. Dear listeners, an understanding of the discipline of astronomy is essential for the appreciation of the religion of Islam. No other religion uses or relies on the heavens and motion of the moon and sun for timekeeping and calendars as Islam does. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this tremendous universe that we live in, and we are invited to reflect upon it, to understand it, so that we may be able to practice our religion with conviction based on reason to the best of our abilities. For example, in Surah Al-An'am, verse 97, Allah mentioned, "And it is He who ordained the stars for you that you may be guided thereby in the darkness of the land and the sea." Also, in the Holy Quran, it is mentioned in Surah At-Tariq, verse 1, "Consider the heavens and that which comes in the night." As for in Surah Al-Lail, verse 1, it means, "Consider the night as it veils the earth in darkness." So inshallah today, dear listeners of IKIMFM, we are going to discuss a topic on astronomy in everyday life. Astronomy in everyday life, and we are most delighted to have us here Encik Shahrin Ahmad, also known to his friends. He's from Petaling Jaya, Selangor, and also known among his friends, Shah Gezer, amateur astronomer and also Fala Online portal owner. Welcome to our IKIMFM studio. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah, thank you for being with us this evening, Encik Shahrin. So, as I mentioned to you earlier, we are going to talk about astronomy in everyday life. So, to begin, how does astronomy benefit society and humankind, Encik Shahrin?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
DJ Ahmad Nazri. First of all, I would like to thank IKIMFM for giving the opportunity to come here and share the passion that I have in astronomy, which has been about 30 years since 1984. And throughout the 30 years that I've been involved in astronomy, I find that astronomy benefits a lot to the society and the humankind in a few phases. It begins with the calendar.
Okay.
The calendar, when we say the calendar, we relate it to the Hijrah calendar, the Muharram, Safar.
Yes.
So those are related to the ibadah, our ibadah, daily ibadah.
Yes.
The fasting month, okay. And also it relates to the Qiblat direction, the Salat,
Correct.
the Salat time. So when we have the calendar as the base point in Islamic astronomy, it will come another stage where they use the knowledge to navigate the world, to explore the world. So that's how we can see all the Muslim scholars during those times, during the so-called Dark Ages.
Yes.
by the European. They explore the world by navigating through the seas by using the stars. So that started from the calendar itself. That started when they look at the stars and they use the star as a way to navigate all around the world. And when that happens, the spirit of exploration comes up. So when a human being, we human being have this curiosity. We are curious about things that we don't know, and we would like to know it. So we would like to explore. So those are the things that started from calendar itself to navigating all around the world and explore the things that the questions that they have in mind about astronomy, like how does the sun created during the early stages? How does the planet forms? How does the moon moves around the sky? So, and when they study that part, they will begin to understand. So that understanding phase is the one that we can appreciate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the Almighty that created us. Those are the 5 phases in astronomy that I see.
All right, if you look into any devices or apparatus, each of these devices or apparatus has its own inventor. How about astronomy? If you could touch about the history of astronomy, where was astronomy invented, Shahrin?
Astronomy, in a way, it begins way back to the civilization before the Muslim civilization. Maybe the Greeks. Probably the Greeks are the one that that started looking at the heavens. And if you look at the names of the constellation in the sky, most of the names are actually from the Greek mythology. The Perseus, Hercules, Cassiopeia,
Yes.
Pegasus, Scorpio. Those are names are actually related to their beliefs. Okay. So when the Muslim scholars begin their sage in exploring the world, the astronomy, during that 1,000 years of the peak of Muslim scholarship, we can see that they use all this information from, regardless from whether it is from the Greeks or from the Chinese or from the Indians or even from the South Americans civilization. Those information has been gathered, collected, and improvised. So they are actually improvising the knowledge of astronomy and turn it into something structured, something that can be learned, something that can be studied in a way that will benefit the society. So in a way, astronomy begins with the curiosity of the Greek people looking at the heavens, and as the years goes by, as the 100 years, 2,000 years, for example, then the Muslim will take all this knowledge and make sure that the knowledge is related, is relevant to what has been summoned in the Quran and the Hadith.
All right. Before we move on, talking about the differences between astronomy and astrology, we would like to welcome to our listeners of IKIMFM. If you have questions which relates to our topic today, astronomy in everyday life, you can call us at this number 03-6205-1500. Once again, 03-6205-1500, or you can log on to our Facebook, facebook.com/ikim.fm, facebook.com/ikim.fm. All right. Some of us are confused with the term astronomy and astrology. Is there any differences between it? Sorry.
In a way, there is some similarities and some
Okay.
very, very obvious differences between the two terms.
All right.
First of all, we like to look at the term astrology itself.
Okay.
Astrology is actually the studies on the stars and the planets, the movement of the stars, the movement of the planets, the sun and the moon. Those are the four major things that the civilization has been looking at the sky. They will see these four things: the stars, the planets, the moon, and the sun. Okay. And based on that movement, they are trying to predict how it influences the people, how it influences the events. So that is actually goes into an area they call it a mystical area, something that we cannot. It's not tangible. It's not something that we can see.
Okay.
So it is more like is a knowledge of a ghaib, something that can be unseen, something that cannot be seen.
Yes.
Okay. So when that happens, you can see that in the Quran, Surah Al-Jinn, in the verses 26 and 27, you can see that Allah said that He is alone, the all-knower of the ghaib, and He reveals to none of his ghaib except to a messenger. To accept to a messenger from mankind, whom He has chosen, and then He makes a band of watching guards, which is the angels, to march before Him and after Him, which means that the knowledge itself is not being revealed. It will not be revealed to us except to the messenger, which is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that means it is something that we cannot learn and we should not learn, even though astrology is a knowledge based on looking at the stars, which is the same as astronomy, but the intention is wrong. The intention is like you want to predict. Okay, if you look at the moon tonight, tomorrow you may fall from your bike because the moon is reddish in color tonight. For example, we cannot predict things in the future.
Okay.
So that is the thing that astrology would like to make us believe. But in astronomy itself, it is the same thing. People in astronomy, they look at these four things: the stars, the moon, the planets, and the sun. But they study the movement of the stars, the planets, the moon, and the sun. And based on that movement, which can be counted, which can be tabulated, which can be counted, and from there they will try to make sense. They will try to understand, why does the moon move 29 days all around the earth? Why does the earth rotates around the sun every 365 and a quarter days? Based on that number, which is very, very perfect, and it doesn't divert 1 second fast or 1 second late, we can create calendar. So we can create calendar because of the movement of the objects in the sky is perfect, and that can only be learned in astronomy, not astrology.
I see. All right, thank you for the interesting knowledge there. And we are going to take a short break, Encik Sharin, and to listeners of IKIM FM, we'll be right back after this. Stay tuned listening to Radio Institute of Islamic Understanding Malaysia, IKIM FM, pilihan utama anda. Welcome back to our show this evening, In Focus, which is broadcast on IKIM FM every Saturday at 6 p.m. And the rerun of this show you will be able to catch every Sunday 4 a.m. You are still with me, DJ Ahmad Nazri Muhammad Yusof, together with my special guest today. He is the amateur astronomer and also portal owner of the Fala Online. He is Encik Sharin Ahmad, and our topic of discussion today is about astronomy in everyday life. So if you like to ask questions which relates to this topic, you are most welcome to do so. You can dial this number 036205 1500, 036205 1500, or you can log on to our Facebook, facebook.com/ikim.fm. I suppose, Encik Sharin, you would like to share with us about the some sort of the importance of solar eclipse. Yeah, please.
Okay. As some of us may have noticed from my website Infala Online, I am one of those people that they call a crazy solar eclipse hunter.
Why is that?
Well, because the event, the phenomena of solar eclipse is one of the most beautiful astronomical events that anybody can see.
Yeah.
Because just imagine when you look during daytime, you can see a big shining ball of light, which is the sun, and suddenly out from nowhere, that ball of light disappears, and is being replaced by a big dark circle in the sky.
Okay.
And during that time, you'll be like surprised, awed, and you will be disoriented during that time. And suddenly, the sun will appear back. It's just a brief of time.
Okay.
So that event itself is so special. And even though if you look all these videos in the TV or in the YouTube, you can't relate to the exact feeling of watching the solar eclipse itself. So when that happens during that brief moment, you will want to look at the eclipse again. So that's why they say everybody who watch the eclipse, they will have this some kinds of fever. The fever is they want to look at another eclipse for the next eclipse. So that's why when I started looking at the eclipse, in the first solar eclipse that I saw was in Turkey, 2006. And during that time, it was very beautiful. The sky is so nice over there. It was 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And then I started planning to go to China in 2009. So in 2009, I was in Jiaxing, China. And unfortunately, it was raining. It was supposed to be eclipse day, 9:30 in the morning, but it was overcast. It was raining. But the effect of the sunlight was blocked by the moon was very, very obvious during that time. Okay. So by missing that 2009, I said to myself, no, there cannot be. I need to watch the eclipse again. So I began to plan for my next trip, which is in 2012 in Australia. So I went over there with my wife in November 2012 and managed to get another view of the eclipse. And in 2013, I went back to Australia to watch another eclipse. So as you can see, it will go on and on and on and on. And just to remind the audience, to the listeners, the next nearest solar eclipse that we Malaysian can see is actually next year. In Indonesia. Indonesia. So it's very near. So everybody should get the opportunity to save some money and go to Indonesia to watch the total solar eclipse that will happen in the March 2016 next year.
How about this year? Not yet.
Not somewhere around here. You need to travel, I think, up to the North Pole. I think. Yeah, it's quite far and expensive.
I see. When you mentioned about Indonesia, is it occurs in all parts or just one district?
The eclipse will go from will pass the big city of Palembang.
Okay.
And it will cross southern Kalimantan and all the way to Sulawesi. And it goes into the islands of all the small islands of Indonesia on the eastern side. So the only big cities that we can see at that particular path is actually Palembang. So go for Palembang.
I see. And you are planning to go there, inshallah, next year?
Yes, one of those spots. I haven't really decided which is the best spot, but yeah, I mean it's so near to Malaysia, and it's because if you miss the event in Indonesia next year, you have to wait for the next one, which is 2017, but that will happen in US.
US. I see.
Yes.
So all of the one you observe, you always record it in your falaonline.net?
Yes, yes. Those are where I just shared whatever photos that I have over there.
All right. Okay, we have callers at the moment to interact with you, Encik Shahrin. We begin with the first caller on the line. Hello, Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi, Brother Nazri.
Yes, Waalaikumsalam. Encik K. Muhammad Yusof, right?
Yes, right.
Okay.
Brother Nazri, how are you in this evening?
Alhamdulillah, fine. Thank you, Encik here. All right, kindly proceed to Encik Sharim for your questions or your views.
So, regarding this topic on the astrology and astronomy that has been talking over the radio, I would like to give my views regarding on it. So I would mention on this astronomy and astrology in Islam is very important, because as we know that astronomy was pioneered by the scholar of Muslim, like there are many things in the history of astronomy and astrology. But however, we see that the knowledge, the study of astrology was and astronomy has been dominated by the Europe, by the others nation. So I believe that it is time around for us now we have to branch out, we have to explore to the new mindset of us that we should explore and engage into astronomy, especially in our beloved country. So I would say that in our country, the government and other parties should emphasize more on that sector, so that the astronomy and astrology will be more keen, more interested by those, especially in our university, in our student, and so on. So I would like to get expounded more about it by the panelists at the country. Thank you, Brother Nazri.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother K. Briefly, can you respond on that, Encik Shahrin?
Yes, it's a very interesting point that Brother K has pointed out just now, and I totally agree, because astronomy has been pioneered by the Muslim scholars during that 1,000 years in 600 to 600 something around that time, and that knowledge has been taken by the Western countries after that, and they have explored it further, and by looking at the knowledge that they have taken from the Muslim scholars, they can now send a small robot, which is a small robot, to a comet, which is somewhere like 100,000 kilometers away from the Earth, based from that knowledge of astronomy. So I think yes, it is important for us to have this new mindset, this new what do you call it, a movement in Malaysia to ensure that astronomy will start to bloom back again, to make sure that astronomy will be able to be embraced by all the people in Malaysia, especially starting from the students in schools.
Do you think should be a specific subject in every schools about astronomy?
The word astronomy sometimes can be scary to some people, because when they say astronomy, it's like, wow, I need to learn maths, I need to learn science. But actually, astronomy itself is a very beautiful subject. And in fact, you don't really need to learn to the technical side. You just can go outside and look at the sky. You don't even need to buy a telescope, because once you look at the sky, once you are aware of what is going on in the sky, then the passion, the interest will start by itself in yourself. After that, you will enter the level 2, which is you will learn on the technical side.
All right. So how important, Encik Shahrin, is recording observations in the field of astronomy?
Well, recording is very, very important, especially because nowadays people like to share images from God knows where the source is from. And when I ask them, okay, what area in the sky are they looking at? Is it the west or is it the east? What time is it? How does it look like? Or is it moving very far? Is it moving very slow? Sometimes they can't answer that. They just that particular point just doesn't came through to their mind. Okay, so that is important because from that information, the date, time, the location, the direction, the behavior, and the description of the object will be able to help us to identify the object, whether is it an identified flying object with the inverted comma, or is it an identified flying object? Maybe it's just an airplane, or maybe it's just the International Space Station passing by the sky. So those things we need to record. Maybe just jot down from on a piece of paper or something, and that information can be useful in the future. Who knows? Maybe you are looking at a new comet passing by from Kampung Medan, for example, and you are the first person in the world who saw that comet, and you can even name that comet after your name. So it is something very important actually.
And when we talk about astronomy, before we move on talking about something, discover something new, Encik Shahrin, the existence of people wanted to know more about the existence of a UFO. So what is all about actually? Is it true? The existing of it?
Just waiting for that question to be asked.
I'm sure the listeners will get to know.
It's a FAQ, frequently asked question. Frankly speaking, from my experience for 30 years looking at the sky, I have not met any UFOs or things that I can't explain. But whether do they exist in the universe?
Wallahu
a'lam. We don't know because we are limited to the technology that we have here on Earth. In fact, we haven't even finished exploring our solar system. And beyond the planets, beyond Pluto, there are other stars which they themselves has their own set of planets. So we are still limited to our area around the sun. In fact, we don't have even people walking on Mars yet. So how can we know whether is there any alien sending WhatsApp message from another planet in Alpha Centauri to us? We don't know. Maybe they're talking from another set of language. We don't know. So my answer is Wallahu a'lam.
It's still unanswered.
Yes. What's up?
Just Shahrin, some people perceive astronomy is a very interesting field, cool field. What will happen if an astronomer discovers something new?
He will become famous. That is number one. Well, at this time we are experiencing now is most of the new objects that can be found is limited to comets, asteroids. Those are the two things that even amateur astronomers can find. So when they scan the sky, when they photograph the sky. When they find something which is not supposed to be there, but it's there, the proof is there, it's in the photographs, they will need to send this information, this photograph to the scientists, to the professional astronomers to verify whether is it a new comet or is it an old comet, but it's just passing by through. So we need to verify first whether is it a new object or is it an old object. Okay. So when they have verified the new object, and when they have verified for several observations, maybe they observe for another 30 sets of data sets to observe the object, then they say, okay, this is a new object. Okay, since you are the first one to see for example, the comet. Okay, the comet will be named after you. So this happens to a guy in Australia. His name is Terry Lovejoy. He found, I think, about 6 to 7 comets from his backyard in Brisbane by having his telescope scanning the sky automatically every dawn on just one part of the sky. And from that set of images, he found 6 comets. I think for the past 10 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So we have 7 comet Lovejoy named after him. Okay. And now there's one comet Lovejoy, his latest comet, is actually shining up in the sky. Now, we can actually see it around during Isha, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, somewhere near overhead on top of us. So if you have a binocular, if you know exactly where it is, you can see a very small patch of comet, greenish comet in the sky now.
I see. All right, thank you again, Encik Sharin. We're going to take another short break. And for listeners of IKIMFM, do call us at this number 0362051500 or log on to our Facebook, facebook.com/ikim.fm if you have questions which relates to our topic of discussion today, astronomy in everyday life. Astronomy in everyday life with Encik Sharin Ahmad, amateur astronomer and also portal owner of the falaonline.net. You are listening to Radio Institute of Islamic Understanding Malaysia, IKIMFM, pilihan utama anda. We are now still in the show In Focus, which is at every Saturday at 6 p.m. and the rerun of this show every Sunday at 4 a.m. Astronomy in Everyday Life. It is still the topic of our discussion today. And just now, Encik Sharin has explained about the importance of recording observation in astronomy and also the comparisons between astronomy and astrology. And let us now talking about your current job as the portal owner Fala Online. So how do you first become involved with falaonline.net or as an amateur astronomer, Encik Sharin?
Okay,
Yes.
This goes back, I think, about 30 years back. I was 10 years old, if I'm not mistaken, in 1984, and I watched this story, Battlestar Galactica, in the TV during that time. So the story is about a human race trying to look for Earth, looking for Earth, going back to Earth. So based on that story, it sparked me to know about what is going on up there. What is astronomy actually? What is it? Why are the stars happens to be like that? Why is the planet looks like that? Why is the moon moves in such a way? So those are the questions that begin to haunt me. So I started looking at the books, reading at the books at the bookstores, and as it goes by, when in 1999, I graduated in 1998 in computer science in UPM. So in 1999, I started to create a website called Fala Online. So that is when I noticed that there are a lot of people in Malaysia actually that really interested in the subject astronomy or space science. And along the way, the number grew. The number grew. And now we have all the social media, the Facebook and things like that. And if you look at the page, Fala Online page in Facebook, is about 48,000 likes. And I was surprised. It's like 48,000 people. Wow! In Malaysia, that really has these questions lingering around your mind. The curiosity about knowing what is going on in the sky and the stars. And Alhamdulillah, I find it is a blessing in disguise because, 48,000. You got a lot of people. I mean, there are some are very interested in it. Some they like to condemn. There are 1,001 people in there, but the curiosity is there, and I just love sharing the information to them because the knowledge is not for me. The knowledge is from Allah giving to me, and I need to give it back. And the only method that I have now is to the social media. So those are the satisfaction that I have at this moment. And even though I graduated from computer science, but I maintain the interest that I have since I was 10 years old until now, which I don't want to mention how old I am. I managed to maintain that interest all the way, Alhamdulillah.
Yes. And when you mention about falaonline.net, is there a platform where the users can ask questions regarding the astronomy? Or?
At the moment, I have the blog or the website falaonline.net itself. The platform for asking questions mostly on Facebook and Twitter, mostly on Facebook. So those are where people can ask me questions, and I know there are some that I a bit late to answer because there are so many questions coming in, and some of them are quite repetitive. So usually I just give them a link. Okay, please refer to this article that I have written 10 years back. And maybe they haven't really looked through all the pages in the website, but those information are important. The articles that I have.
All right, before we move on talking about your jobs which relates to astronomy, I'm just thinking of asking you this question, which is astrology and daily horoscopes, are they interrelated actually?
Yeah, those are actually the same thing basically. They have this daily horoscope about the Scorpio Sagittarius.
Yes.
You are the star of Scorpio. You are very, you know those things. And when you read it, it's like, wow, it's true. Wow, okay. But those are actually related. Those are actually related to astrology, because the horoscope, they use the stars to see whether any influence to us, to humans. Okay, those are astrology.
Yeah.
So, no need to read them actually.
All right, Kanuli, can you share with the listeners some of your major tasks that you perform?
Okay. For me, I think there are two major tasks that I've been doing all this while, which I find it to be very, very, very interesting and quite important.
Yes.
Number one is the solar eclipse strips that have been going around all over the place, in Turkey, in China, in Australia. So those strips need plan. We just don't go there and look at the sky and look at the sun disappear for a few minutes and just go back to Malaysia. No, you need to plan. You need to know exactly where it happens.
Yes.
And for example, in Turkey, it doesn't happen in Istanbul.
Yes.
It happened to a small town called Side.
Yes.
You go shopping at Istanbul, but not in Side. So it's like it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yes.
So you need to know exactly where the eclipse happened in that particular town, and exactly when. What is the exact date and time? So once you have those things calculated, then you need to plan about what type of equipments that you need to bring. You don't bring big telescopes to look at the eclipse. You just bring the small ones and a camera, because you want to record the eclipse. You just bring a small camera, a small lens, and a small telescope or a small lens and a camera. That's all. You don't drag around those huge telescopes into an airplane all the way to Turkey just to watch an eclipse. It's not suitable. So you need to plan what is the target and what is the most relevant equipments that you use to watch the objects. Okay. Then you need to plan for the traveling. Yes, because you need to make sure whether these things can be fitted into a car or an airplane, how much you have to pay for the extra baggage, things like that.
Okay.
And during the eclipse day itself, you need to plan what is your set of exposures.
Okay.
What is your ISO, your focal ratio of the cameras, to make sure that the image will be the most memorable image that you have, and it's not just a blank dark image. And finally, you need to process the image. You need to process the photos, for example, to bring out all the details during the eclipse. So usually when I go to the trip, I will be the person that they will be asking about. They will ask about, okay, what is the best equipment, what is the time, what is the date, where is the place. So it's slightly put a slight pressure on me, because I need to provide the correct information for them.
Yes.
Okay, so those are one of the major tasks that I've been going through.
That is one of the challenges that you face.
Yes, one of the
The
challenges.
obstacles.
Yes.
All right. Device. Okay, we have a caller. Sorry, Encik Sharin. Hello, Assalamualaikum. Hello, Assalamualaikum, IKIMFM.
Waalaikumsalam.
Yes, may
Okay. My name is Zainal.
Zaina calling from? Zaina?
Okay. I would like to ask about this astronomy.
All right.
Encik Shari, just now you mentioned that astronomy can really predict accurately the movement of the moon, sun, and the stars, isn't it?
Yes. Okay.
But why do we have to look at the sky for the new moon of the Ramadan in Shawwal?
Okay. All right.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Zaina. Yes.
Okay, it's a very, very good question, and it relates a lot to us in Malaysia.
Yes.
Because you need to understand that the calendar, the Hijrah calendar, is solely following the movement of the moon. Okay,
Yeah.
and we need to determine when is the first day of the month. How do we know that? You need to make sure that the first day of the month, the moon has these three sets of criteria to be fulfilled. Three sets of criteria. Number one is the moon needs to be 2 degrees above horizon, cannot be less than that,
Okay.
and it cannot be less than 3 degrees from the sun. Okay, that is the first set. Or the moon must be older than 8 hours old. Okay, it's a bit technical, but that is what is going on at this moment. Okay. All right. So, and it doesn't happen. The moon doesn't usually fulfill that criteria every month. Sometimes it can happen during Ramadan, and sometimes in Shawwal you have to add another day for 30 days Ramadan, because the moon orbits the earth every 29 and a half day, more or less, something like that. So it can be 30 days, it can be 29 days, and it can be another 29 days, another 30 days. So that's why we need to look at the moon every month, because we need to exactly determine when is the first day of the month.
It requires accuracy, and one
yes,
has
it
to
requires accuracy,
Yes.
and it requires the calculation to be correct.
Right.
And of course, it needs to be the sky, the condition of the sky also needs to be clear in order to confirm about on the calculation that we have.
All right. When talking about devices uses in this field of astronomy, if you don't mind, can you just recommend some devices which are usually is what we call it more accuracy and to measure it for
Okay, for the
or what usually you uses?
well, from what I use in my house in the
Yes.
observatory is
Okay.
is a computerized telescope, which means that it has a motorized telescope which moves by itself,
Okay.
and it has a computer in it to calculate the position of the objects in the sky.
I see.
Okay, so that is the basic what you call that equipments that can help you to point to the exact or the correct position in the sky. Okay, but for the rest of us,
Okay.
those are just curious to know about the sky. You don't need to buy those kind of equipments. The minimum that I would recommend is just buy a binocular. A binocular, those two things that you hold in the sky, in the head. The binocular, not the small telescope. A binocular. A binocular is the most useful thing that everybody, even the professional, they have a small binocular at their observatory, because it is very easy. You don't have to put batteries in there.
Yes.
You just plug it out on your head, open the cap, and just
Yes.
point it to the sky.
Okay.
Okay, that is the most useful thing. And I got two at home, two binocular at home,
I see.
and I've been using them every day, every night, just to make sure. For example, tonight, I want to look for Comet Lovejoy.
Okay.
I will use the binocular to determine where is it. Then only then I will use the computerized telescope to point to the exact position.
If the younger generations nowadays would like to follow your footsteps, what training or education is required for this kind of job, Shaurin? Amateur astronomer.
As an astronomer, because
Yes.
I wouldn't say I am an astronomer. I would say
Okay.
I'm just an amateur astronomer.
Amateur astronomer.
But you can. This question has been asked a lot, especially during the SPM, and I haven't really answered that thoroughly at the forum.
Yes.
But if you want to learn astronomy, to be an astronomer, a professional astronomer, you need to be strong in science and maths.
Yes.
Okay, that is the most important thing,
Yes.
because you are studying the behavior of the object in the sky. You are studying the behavior of the star. You want to study the behavior of the comet. Okay, so you need to have a strong foundation of science, and you need to have a strong foundation of mathematics to calculate, to derive all the observation that you have, to make sense about all the data that you have. Okay, those are things that you can't run away if you want to be a professional astronomer.
Yes.
But if you want to be involved in astronomy, but you don't want to be an astronomer, you can be coming from any sort of skill sets. For example, you can be a very good you are a very good photographer. You can use the sky as your target to photograph the sky and to inspire people. For example, you can see a lot of photographers now. The professional photographers, they take the image of the Milky Way, the band of lights in the sky, okay?
Yes.
And they develop it so nice, so beautiful. I can't even do that because I'm not a photographer, but they can do it, and they can inspire people to look at the sky. So they don't have to be an astronomer to inspire people to learn astronomy. They can be somebody else. So it can be from any skill sets to learn astronomy. For example, for me personally, I am from computer science. I love to do programming. I love to mingle around all the wires, or if you look at the observatory that at home, I have all these wires running all over the place on my telescope.
Yes.
And I want to have the telescope at my house to be fully automated. That is my dream. I want to say that, okay, telescope, please go to Jupiter, and it will go by itself. That is my that is my target.
Yes.
Okay, but I like to play around with programming, with softwares. So that is from my point of view.
Okay.
But people can have different point of view, different skill sets.
And can you share with the listeners of IKIMFM, Encik Sharin, your future plans about Stargazer Observatory, and also you're planning to develop a software which relates to astronomy, which is called Deep Sky Hunter. Yeah.
Okay.
What is it all about?
Okay, the future plans that I have for Stargazer Observatory, SGO is short,
Yes.
because my dream is to have a home observatory, which I already have, as a base for me to do all the tests, all the software that I've dreamed of writing by myself.
Yes.
Okay, I have it. I already have it at this moment, and I want to share that knowledge to the people who are interested in. For example, maybe there's a lot of requests from students in the universities. For example, they want to come over to my place, and they want to see what I've been doing at night at home on the roof all alone.
The computer data you mentioned.
Yes. Okay. I mean, I would like to share how I managed to do that.
Yes.
Okay. And eventually, I want to structure the knowledge that I have and make it more structured. Maybe I can do a workshop or training, so that people don't have to go through another 30 years that I have been going through before, and they can in fact get something just maybe about a year of studying, for example. Okay, that is what I'm trying to do with the SGO. And the software that I'm writing now is actually Deep Sky Hunter, is the basic framework of future softwares that I've been writing at this moment to control all these instruments. For example, the telescope, the cameras, everything will be running automatically in my house.
All right. Coming back to the falaonline.net, how the listeners of IKIMFM can reach this falaonline.net, and what do they gain from it?
Okay. The website of Fala Online is actually falaonline.net.
Yes.
Okay, that will be the main place that you should go. Everybody should go,
Yes.
because I will be posting all this latest information about what's going on in the sky, all the news on that website.
Okay.
And in addition to that, you can join the page, Fala Online page, Facebook page in Facebook, which is facebook.com/Fala Online. That is where more interaction is going on during at the area. So usually I will focus on phenomena, what you can see tonight, what you can see tomorrow morning, and go and try it yourself. Because this astronomy is not about theory, it's about practical.
Yes.
You need to have the interest to go out and look at the sky.
Yes.
And just go it.
Yes.
Just do it.
And I also observed that every 3 to 4 hours you always update this
Yes. Well, 3 or 4 hours? Is that obvious?
But it's written on the Facebook, or maybe it's less than that, or maybe. All right. To wrap up our show today, Encik Sharin, could you just briefly underline the importance of astronomy in our religion, Islam? Yeah.
Okay. Because if you look through the verses in Quran, in Surah Al Imran 190, verse 190, Allah has mentioned that, verily, in the creation of the heavens and the earth, okay, and in the alternation of the night and day, okay, there are indeed signs for men of understanding. These 4 things, the heavens and the earth, the night and the day, those are simple things that we can watch every day. Okay? But if you just watch without understanding, you will gain nothing. That's why Allah mentioned, because in that 4 things there are actually signs. Signs of what? Signs of Allah's greatness in there. So just go and watch. But you need to think. You need to use your mind. You just don't go look blindly. You need to use your mind and learn about it.
Okay, so it seems that we have a fruitful discussion this evening, topic on astronomy in everyday life with our guest today, Encik Sharin Ahmad, amateur astronomer and also a portal owner of the falaonline.net. And thank you to the listeners of IKIMFM who have joined our discussion today, to Encik Yusuf and also Puan Zainiah just now, who has joining our Q&A session with our guest today, Encik Sharin Ahmad. So on behalf of IKIMFM, we would like to wish you, Encik Sharin, best of luck. May Allah bless you and much more success in the future, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you very much.
Alright. So with that, I'm Muhammad Nazri Muhammad Yusof. We have come to an end of this show, English section, Saturday's edition. Till meet on the air again next week, inshallah. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ila liqa' ma'assalamah.